What drew me to a career in real estate actually is kind of funny because when I was 18, I actually really wanted to be a real estate agent. I would often get off the bus, grab the newspaper, bring it into the house, and thumb through all of the real estate ads. I really loved those and had an odd draw to that stuff. So when it came time to kind of start choosing a career path in high school, I really did want to pursue real estate. And so I went to a local real estate brokerage, and I was just wanting to know, like, can you tell me, how do I become a real estate agent? I don't think you can go to school for this stuff, but I'm not sure. And basically the realtor at the time basically just said to me, you're too young, you're too broke, and nobody is going to take you seriously. You don't have enough money to kind of get yourself up and going, which they did not know, by the way. I'd been working since I was 12 years old. And so that was kind of where it sort of began. And I didn't actually end up going the real estate route from that conversation. I ended up going to college to be a police officer, got my diploma, realized that this was not what I wanted to do, and eventually did still pursue real estate because it was a burning desire within me. And I wanted to just know whether it was for me or not. And it wasn't going to let it go. It wasn't going to kind of leave me until I figured out and tried it, just to at least say I tried. So that's kind of where I was in terms of how I sort of got into the business. Now, I was a single mom at the time, driving a school bus, very, very broke. In fact, I had $47 to my name, no credit cards. And so I still was, I had that yearning to be a realtor. So I knew that I had to get into the real estate industry in some way, shape, or form to get my feet wet, to just get myself inside of the environment. And so I went for an interview for an administrative job at a real estate office. And when I had that interview, the broker at the time basically said to me, "You are not administrative material. You are real estate agent material." And I was like, well, I can't afford to do the courses and so on and so forth right now, just with my situation. And a blessing from God, she basically said to me, I'm going to help you get through your courses, and you can pay me back when you start selling houses. And the rest is history. It's been full-blown real estate ever since. So it's been since 2014. Been an absolute blessing, and absolutely love this career path. I don't think I would have it any other way. What I believe sets me apart from other real estate agents is just the fact that I am not transaction-based. I am a relationship person. I truly care about the outcome and ensuring that your goals are your goals. And I'm helping you to achieve whatever it is in real estate that you want to achieve. Whether it's buying your first home, maybe you're selling your first home and moving into a bigger home. Maybe you are moving out of your family home that you've been in for 30 years and you're downsizing. Whatever that may be, for me, it's how can I make this experience the best experience that you have ever had in real estate? So that is something that I think really sets me apart, is just the experience aspect of it and making it more of just an experience rather than a transaction, because I don't just sell homes. I help change people's lives. I help, start and end new chapters. And I don't take that lightly. It's something that means a lot to me. And I just think that there are lots of realtors out there. Some have different approaches. Some feel differently about their job. Some don't have that emotional connection. Whereas for me, it's a big thing emotionally for me, so that I can ensure that you are having an experience that you aren't going to regret, that you're having an experience that is an unforgettable, positive one. I do seem to work a lot with those who are 50 plus, planning for retirement, planning to downsize. I do feel as though that it seems to come natural to me that people in this age range trust me and they know that I'm genuine. So I feel like they have just a gravitation towards me, knowing that they're going to be taken care of. And so there are lots of moving parts and elements to this chapter when you are, moving from probably your home that you've lived in for 30 years to something significantly smaller. Maybe you're moving to a different city or town. There's so many different factors. And I believe that a real estate agent that's involved in that, journey and that chapter needs to have experience ensuring that the client understands, how it goes and what you need to do and how to prepare, not only prepare your home, but prepare mentally and emotionally, because it is a very emotional chapter to kind of go through, because there's a lot of memories and attachment involved in that home usually. So it's sometimes really hard for people to detach and feel as though that they're closing a book, closing a chapter, when they really just need to be reminded that this actually is a new, exciting chapter and that the memories will still remain with them forever. And oftentimes that is a reassuring sort of comment that seems to put people at ease when you're letting them know that, this chapter isn't like ending. Like, the memories that you have in this home are going to be with you forever. And now you should be excited about moving into a new chapter. And oftentimes it does, breed excitement into them, because then they sort of start to get excited for that new chapter. And then ensuring too, like, I do have my investment and insurance licenses as well. So I am able to help them plan strategically their finances. So ensuring that they are making good financial decisions that align with their retirement goals and their financial goals. That is a big part of ensuring that my clients are taken care of from a full circle perspective. When I work with buyers, I have a process. And sometimes people don't like it, but the first thing that, a buyer needs to have is a pre-approval in place. You can't go to the airport without your passport. You can't purchase a home without a pre-approval. So the systems that I have in place seem to work really, really well for people who are open to being guided through this experience. So it really does come down to the trust that they have for you and your ability to execute and show them how this is going to go. Setting expectations, ensuring that they are educated. Now, I do have a YouTube channel and I do try to educate both buyers and sellers in their own rights on that channel so that people can just get the education that they need and the honest guidance that they deserve. They don't need to use me to get that education and information, but it's important to me that people understand how the buying process works, how the selling process works. And so the way that I package this experience is a lot different than what most real estate agents offer. Like I said, I try to kind of build an experience that is something that's just a little bit different than just that transaction. You're not just buying a house. You're not just selling a house. I want to make sure everything is taken care of from the beginning to the end and beyond. Belleville has always been what I call a honey hole for the area. So we are far enough away from Toronto to be out of Toronto, but we're still close enough to be close. So I find that especially during COVID, we had a lot of people flooding to the Belleville and surrounding areas so that they could work remotely and be out of the city and have space and have different scenery. So I feel as though, people come to the Belleville area because they want to experience outskirt city living, basically. And I do feel as though Belleville is still an up and coming area. I do believe that people, when they land here, they really love the environment. They love everything about Belleville. And so that is something that I feel makes my life a little bit easier, because we have such a great community, such a great region and area to bring people into. The way that buyers can maximize their profit of the home that they purchase is to first ensure that they are making a good purchase. You need to have a professional by your side during the buying process to ensure that you are not overpaying for your home. This is a key factor in ensuring the profits you make are going to be long lasting. There have been numerous stories, numerous clients that I have retained over the years that have, purchased homes during COVID or during times where the real estate agent was not really, it did not seem as though they were really working for them. It was more about making a paycheck. Where when you work with me, I will ensure that when you're making a purchase, you are purchasing that home for a fair value. You are not overpaying, so that the profits are going to stay with you, and you are not going to be saying 5 years from now when you want to sell, or I'm not going to be telling you 5 years from now that I'm sorry, we can't sell the house for what you owe, because it was just a bad investment. That is something that I try to do my absolute best in ensuring that you are making a promising investment in your future and in the home that you are purchasing. Now, when it comes to selling a home, being list ready is a key factor when you are getting ready to sell. The list ready process is the process before you actually go on the market. And it's the most important element, because your home needs to be ready and needs to be debuted properly. And you need to do all of the things that you can possibly do to ensure that you are getting maximum value out of your home and ensuring that the equity is there for you to use. So little tweaks, little things. I always have my clients come to me before they even start thinking about getting ready to list their home. I have them have me over so that we can go through the home and they can tell me, we have this much money that we would like to potentially invest in the home to get an ROI, to get a return on our investment. Or, we don't really have the money to do anything to the home. Can you make some recommendations on things that we can do that don't cost a lot or anything at all? And those things are really important, because it's really based on what the seller's expectations are and what their goals are. So if you can understand and sit with them and get to know what their goals are, it will help you to ensure that the sale goes smoothly and you're able to sell their home as quickly as possible and for top dollar. The common challenges that I think sellers have for the most part is just not understanding how to ensure that they are not leaving money on the table. Oftentimes, people that are not currently my clients will call me after they have already gotten their house ready and they've done things and spent money that really isn't going to give them a return on their investment. That's why I always try to ensure that people know to have the realtor come in before you start planning, because we can help save you time, energy, and money on things that don't actually make sense. And we will guide you more towards the things that do make sense, because we know what buyers are looking for. We know how they react to certain things. And so we can make sure that you are doing the things that are going to give you the biggest and best return on your investment. Oftentimes, the challenge for me as a realtor is the seller thinking that they know better. And you know what? A lot of people are educated and understand the selling process and have done it several times, and I totally understand and get that. But often enough, they are not open to creative criticism or any type of just information about how they can improve their home or the way that we sell their home or the price. I would say 9 times out of 10, once the house is ready to go, the biggest challenge for me as a realtor is getting sellers to come down to a reasonable list price and a reasonable expectation of a sale price. We really can only go off of what homes like yours have sold in the last, say, 3 months. And 3 months is even stretching it really. But if there aren't a lot of comparables, then we will go back about 3 months to kind of give us a foundation to work with. But facts are facts. I don't make the facts up. They're there, they're solid. And so it just makes my life harder when I get pushback from sellers when they're like, well, we want this, but the market says this. And so that is a huge challenge when it comes to selling your house. But you just have to be open. You have to be willing to take your professional's advice. That's why you hire us, is to take our advice and to allow us to show you why we are giving you this advice. And oftentimes I will take sellers through properties that are currently for sale that are like their house, so that they can actually act as a buyer, go through the home, and then go back and evaluate how that home compares to their home. And that often will help them come up with a general understanding of where they need to be priced and so on. Another challenge that I find with pricing a home is testing the market. So sometimes when you think a home is going to sell fast and for the price that you put it at, sometimes the market lets you down. And unfortunately, it often sometimes takes longer to sell, or it doesn't sell for what you believed it was going to sell for. Ultimately, it comes down to understanding that your home is only going to sell for what a buyer is willing to pay. We can do our absolute best and do all of our homework, do all of our due diligence to try and come up with a price that makes sense, that aligns with the market. But the biggest thing is we need to be able to adjust and shift with the market and how it reacts to the listing. So if in 7, 14, 21 days, you haven't had any showings, any activity, nothing, crickets, that is a very clear indication that there's something wrong with the house or there's something wrong with the price. And generally speaking, it has something to do with the price. And buyers are not aligning the value with the price. So often when this happens, you have to make an adjustment to the price for it to realign with the market and how buyers are going to perceive the value with your home. This is something that oftentimes becomes more of a frustration to sellers than anything, but they just need to know and understand that going on the market, there is no guarantee of anything. The only thing we can do is make strategic moves. We can market the heck out of the property, and we can do our absolute best to ensure that we are pivoting and moving with the market as quickly as necessary to ensure that you are getting the desired result at the end of the day. I am the founder of Wow Them Co. And that is something that was really just born from my absolute passion for building an unforgettable experience with any type of experience, whether it's real estate or any type of a business experience. It really is more focused on the consumer and how they experience your business. Teaching these principles have taught me a lot. It's really just a passion of mine that I feel as though our world has kind of gotten away from that belly to belly experience where people are actually talking about how cool of an experience or how great of an experience they had when they went into such and such a business. I think we need to just get back to the basics and really focus on ensuring that the client that comes in or the customer that comes in has the absolute best experience so that they can achieve three things. We want to have the business get a 5-star review. We want them to take those customers and turn them into loyal customers so that they keep coming back. And then finally, we want those loyal customers to then become advocates of our business. And I think teaching realtors this concept is very beneficial because I don't think the majority of realtors look at their business from an experience perspective. They more look at it as a transactional thing rather than it being an experience, buying and selling a home. Yes, you're buying a home. Yes, you're selling a home, but there is an experience wrapped up into that. And oftentimes realtors just don't have that emotional connection. They sell the home, they help the client buy the home, and they move on to the next client. I believe that there is so much value in your current clients that you have already serviced. And not to mention, those clients cost absolutely nothing to retain because you have already serviced them. So it's the most financially beneficial way of creating new business when it costs you nothing. So if you just do a really good job with the people that you are doing business with now, they will talk about you with the 5-star reviews. They will become loyal to you and they will use you again and again. And then they will also advocate for you. So they're going to tell their friends and family, like, hey, Michelle is a great realtor. You have to use her. She will take great care of you because she took great care of us. I always revert back to a phone call that I received a few years ago from a lady who called me and said, hey, I need to sell my home. I live in Prince Edward County. And my son basically told me that I have to use you because you're the best. You have helped him buy and sell homes in the past. And he basically did not give me a choice. And he thinks that you are my best option. And so that is, something that all realtors, all business owners love getting those types of phone calls because I did not have to interview for that opportunity. I was just given that opportunity on a platter. So, and then doing a good job for that client will then ripple effect to other opportunities. So as you can see, this can be something that is very fruitful for you when you focus on crafting an unforgettable experience that will ripple effect and help your business grow and thrive without having to do more ads, do more marketing, pay more money for finding leads. It's literally just nurturing the relationships that you have already built, and you will see dividends day in and day out when you do your business that way. When it comes to innovation and technology, AI, all of those things, if you are in business, you need to be using these technologies. You need to be using AI. Now, I am somebody who does not promote fakeness, fake videos, those kinds of things. I'm not into that. I'm into HI, which is human intelligence. I like having conversations with real people. But I will say that there are a lot of advantages and a lot of benefits attached to using AI and the new technologies that are always rolling out. I believe that if you are not up with the times and you do not continue to evolve from a technological standpoint and you don't continue to try new things, and I've never once paid for a Google ad in my life. And yet I have gotten a ton of business from Google because of the Google reviews that I have. So that is something that if realtors or business owners are not utilizing, that is something that is going to be extremely beneficial. And so that's, again, part of evolving and understanding the importance of things like a Google My Business page. And again, like ThreeBestRated, it's such an advantage to have these opportunities to put yourself out there and to show people what you're capable of and what people are saying about you and how their experience was with you. So you have to be able to evolve and shift and continue to do things. I use a platform called Boards. If you are a business owner and you're listening to this, go to getboards.ca. It is a phenomenal platform for any business owner, and you can utilize it to your advantage in so many different ways. I teach on this to different business owners, especially realtors, on how to leverage platforms like this to set yourself apart so that when you are being interviewed as a realtor option to somebody who wants to sell their home, you can get your phone and your technology and you can show them how you're using this technology to help sell their home for more money and for faster and all of those things, and how to get more eyeballs on their listing so that it sells fast and for top dollar, which is exactly what they want. So if you can show them a technology, an app, a marketing strategy that you can use to help them, but other realtors are not putting those strategies out on the table, you are going to win the listing every time because it's something that other realtors are not offering. So you need to be using things that are going to help your clients, and you can show your clients exactly why it's going to benefit them working with you when you are using these technologies. Now, again, AI is great. It helps you to formulate excellent listing descriptions. I'm not one for AI generated images. I am not for that. I do not believe that, and you know what, people may frown upon this comment, but I am not into the AI generated images for a listing because it's not truly that house. Now, if you're looking at potential of the house and what it could potentially look like and using AI for that, then great. But don't use an image to represent a home when it's not actually that home. Is kind of one thing that I would say about the AI thing. But it certainly can help you. You've got to stay up with technology and you've got to stay with the times, or else you're going to be left behind. I believe that ThreeBestRated has had an impact on my business. I believe because I have been one of the top 3 for the last 6+ years, that it does give me credibility and it does give me an opportunity to show that off to people and to show them that I am a trusted local professional that they can know, like, and trust because I'm also trusted by this platform. I think it's an excellent platform. I think what they're doing is phenomenal, and I highly recommend doing your best with your Google business page and your testimonials and just packaging your business together so that people can see you as a trusted professional whom which they can go to for the specialized advice that you offer. It is something that is so important in these days where people need to vet who they are potentially hiring. And ThreeBestRated is an excellent platform to help you do that.